Hi everybody, my name is Emma and I'm going to tell you everything that I read in February. I keep forgetting what the date is. So, you may see from the title that I've themed this month Mermaids because 3 of the 4 books I read this month are about mermaids. But the first one wasn't, so I'm going to start with that one because I like to review them in order because I'm that guy. Like, I need to everything has to be in its logical place. Anyway, I read Noughts and Crosses by Malorie Blackman. I heard of Malorie from listening to a podcast of Desert Island Discs, and she was interviewed on there. And she was so interesting, I really wanted to read her books. I came across Boys Don't Cry and I read that last year. I think I found it in a charity shop. But this was the one that I really wanted to read because this is like her big book. And a friend of mine had got it out of the library and she offered to let me have a lend, so that's what I did. Anyway, this is such an interesting book. So in a nutshell, there are 2 main characters, Callum and Sephy. And Sephy, short for Persephone, it comes from like a rich family, from like a ruling family. And Callum comes from a poorer family, and the book opens with his mum works for Sephy's mum as like a housekeeper, and Sephy's mum fires her. And Callum and Sephy have kind of grown up together playing. Well, Callum's mum works for Sephy's mum. Then when that working arrangement stops, they remain friends by kind of meeting up secretly and that kind of thing, because they're not supposed to spend time together because they're from different backgrounds. So there's the kind of richer-poorer divide, but more importantly, in the context of this book, they have different skin colours. And it's so cleverly handled in this book because initially it's just explained as, you know, that Callum's mum works for Sephy's mum, and you might assume that Sephy is white and Callum is black because historically in the UK, in the US, you would imagine that the richer person would be the white person. In this book, all of that's the other way around. So Sephy is black, and black people are the ruling classes, the people with the power, and there is a lot of segregation and prejudice, and so for instance, white people aren't allowed into black people's schools. And in the book, the reason it's called Noughts and Crosses is because the Noughts are the people who are poorer, they have naught, I guess, and then the crosses are the ruling classes. And so this book kind of has 2 things to it. One is the love story between Sephy and Callum, which is so clever, the way that it explores how they feel and why they feel like that and what they're exposed to and why they react to things the way that they do. It's just brilliant. And then there's also the sort of political side to it of what's going on, and it explores things like terrorism, and it explores why people do the things they do. But because everything is turned around from what we would ordinarily expect, it makes you examine it even more because it kind of, it shows the stupid things even more clearly. Like, even just, it talks about plasters and the fact that if you go to a chemist in the UK and you go and buy plasters, they're going to all be light coloured plasters. In this book it's the other way around, so they're dark coloured plasters. So if somebody, you know, in the UK, if a black person goes to buy plasters, it's just a silly little thing, but will remind you that, you know, plasters are made for a different skin colour. And even just little examples like that, which is kind of an example I was already aware of, but, you know, I just mean like the little nuanced things even just make you kind of go, I hadn't thought about it like that. And then there's also the big things. This book is just, it makes you think, it's beautiful, it's so clever, and the ending of it blew me away. It's not that often, in fact usually I'm a little bit disappointed in endings of books. I really enjoy actually reading it and get to the end and kind of go, It's quite common for me. But this is amazing, and apparently it's part of a series, so I'm going to have to read all of the rest of them. It's fantastic, I thoroughly recommend it. It gives you just different empathy and understanding and a different viewpoint. It's, yeah, brilliant. One of the best books I've ever read. Loved it. Then I moved on to more frivolous things and started reading about mermaids. And I started with Into the Drowning Deep. Now, I saw this being reviewed on the Perks of Books channel. I love her. She's my sea sister. Just go and say hi. And I'll obviously link links below. She read this and I thought it sounded cool because basically, killer mermaids. So, this is a really enjoyable book. Concept is that a ship has gone off like on a reality TV thing, and to go and like look for mermaids, and then the ship is everybody's lost. The mermaids attack, and it's assumed that all of the footage gathered of that attack is all fake. So then one of the main characters, who's called Tori, her sister was on that ship, so she's understandably very angry. And Tori is a marine biologist, and she wants some kind of understanding and proof that what they saw, it did happen, basically. And then the company, the reality TV company that started the first mission, whatever you call it, sailing thing, they want to send another boat out to go and look for the mermaid and prove that it really did happen and wasn't a hoax. So I have a degree in marine biology. So in this book, there's a lot of marine biology, particularly about the mermaids, but about all the different creatures. The science side of this is brilliant because it blends actual science with made-up science to make things very believable. The way that it actually explores how the mermaids' bodies work is genius. You know, it actually tries to explain how they breathe, how they communicate, how their body is made up, how they work, what's the deal with them as a species, how different parts of their bodies. It's cool, okay? And then the characterisation is good. All of the characters are very three-dimensional, you know, flawed, interesting people with very different voices. Like, it's really well written in that respect. Killer mermaids. So what more do you want? I really enjoyed this. It was one of these where the end I was a bit like, I mean, it was clever, but and I often find endings are quite rushed, and I felt like that kind of happened on this. Like, it had been really epic and really long, and everything very detailed, and then I had a lot of questions still as well. I wonder if it's been set up for a sequel actually, because there were things left unanswered. But it was good. It was really good. I gave it 4.5 stars because it is just right up my street in terms of the setting and the story and, you know, killer mermaids. And but, you know, I couldn't give it 5 stars. I can't put it on the same level as this. And as I said, the ending kind of, for me, just wasn't quite there. But I loved it nonetheless. Absolutely brilliant book. And if you're into mermaids or horror, it is quite gross. Then yeah, you might enjoy that. It was good fun. The next book, I took an Instagram picture of it yesterday. I drove it to a beach to take beautiful pictures of it.
Ariana Grande has eclipsed Selena Gomez in becoming the most followed.
I took it to the beach to take Instagram pictures of it, and I don't know what I've done with it. I think I must have left it in my car, but I can't find it. So I'll insert a picture. And this is The Mermaid by Christina Henry. I've seen this book around on Instagram and stuff and wanted to read it, so I bought it. And it was good. It was interesting, so let me explain why. So it starts off, Mermaid is caught by a fisherman and he throws her back, and she sees such great sadness in him that she falls in love with him, and they get married and they're very happy. And that actual little section of it was just beautiful and I adored it. Then things happen, and there's these people in New York and they want to have a real mermaid to exhibit in, well, this particular guy wants to exhibit a mermaid in his museum. So they go to try and get the mermaid because they've heard about her and wonder if she might be real, and see if they can exhibit her at the museum. And for me, reading the book, loved the beginning, and then really enjoyed about the first half of it, and then slowly I still liked it but didn't love it. But I'll explain why, because there are reasons for this. And the main reason is the character in New York is this guy called P.T. Barnum, and on the back it's all like, and he had been looking for a mermaid, and his name was P.T. Barnum. And I was like, whatever, why do I care about his name? So when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, I get it, he's like a trickster, hoaxer, whatever, you know, kind of, I've lost interest in this freak show side of things. Because I didn't understand, I didn't know that P.T. Barnum was a real person. And it was only when I got to the end, and there's like an afterward or something by Christina Henry talking about it, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So that was a big part of why I really didn't enjoy this book, because I didn't know. So the reason why I think I didn't know, A, I'm not American, and I wonder if he's bigger in America. It's just not a figure that I've ever heard of being talked about. I know the stereotype of like the freak show guy, the circus guy, the like showman guy from like the 1800s. I just don't know specific names. And I know that he was a big deal from having looked him up since, and that he was like founded show business in some ways and was like the first showman and all of this. But I wouldn't read it and kind of go, oh wow, that's so cool, there's P.T. Barnum. I was just like, who's this dude? I don't get it. Also, I haven't seen The Greatest Showman, which is also about P.T. Barnum, and then my brain might have gone, huh, why are there two things with a guy with the same name? Maybe he's a real person. So I didn't understand that. I really want to see The Greatest Showman, my daughter really wants to see it, so hopefully I'm going to go and see that at some point. They do like open air screenings, and I think that'd be really fun, so like take blankets and go and watch it on a big screen, so I might go and do that with my daughter at some point. She's 6. I didn't let her watch it last year when it came. Did it come out last year? She can be a bit sensitive, and I didn't know if she'd like it, but I think now she'd really love it, and all her friends have seen it, so she keeps asking. So yeah, if I'd have seen that, then I might have known. I was aware of the Fiji mermaid. See, that's the other thing, it's all about the Fiji mermaid as well, which is the thing where there was the monkey sewn onto the fish's tail. So I was aware of that, but didn't realise he was the guy that exhibited that. So I think, had I understood all of that, I would have enjoyed it more, but I didn't know that until the end. The other issue that I had with it is all the way through the book, they're like, oh, we don't want to happen to the mermaid what happened to Joyce Heth, and oh, it was terrible what happened to Joyce Heth, yeah, we don't want to repeat that. You know, it keeps mentioning it, and I was like, well, there's going to be a big reveal. What happened to Joyce? And there never is. Because, I guess, Joyce was a real person, and maybe it's assumed that that's a known piece of information. I don't know who P.T. Barnum is, and I don't know who Joyce Heth is, so I looked it up. It's not really spoilers because it's never mentioned in the book. Joyce Heth was a disabled lady who was exhibited by P.T. Barnum, and then when she died, he held an autopsy for her and sold tickets to the autopsy. So yeah, that was that wasn't explained, and yeah, thinking back, retrospectively, it's very clever, it's very interesting. I would have liked more of the mermaid actually being in the sea. There's lots of her getting in and out of water. Her character is amazing, I really liked her character. Yeah, it just, for me, but I gave it 3.5 stars, it's a good book, I just didn't get it, so what can I say? Then, the last book that I read this month was this one, another mermaid one. It's called Mermaids by Skye Alexander. I picked this up because I wanted to read non-fiction, because I'm trying to read more non-fiction. Does this count? I think it does, because it's about the myths and legends of mermaids. So first of all, it's a really beautiful book. It's hardback, and it's this lovely colour, which is one of my favourite colours in the world. And the actual inside, the text and the drawings are also the same kind of turquoisey colour, which is really nice. It's a quick read. I read it in a couple of hours, and it's basically all the sections are quite small. There's pictures and there's poems and extracts from books, and then there's little extracts saying where people have seen mermaids over the years as well, which is cool. I did really enjoy this. It initially talks about kind of an overarching thing about the legends of mermaids, and then it goes sort of continent by continent sort of, and goes through the myths of mermaids in those places, which was really fascinating to see that actually mermaids are part of mythology in lots of different cultures, mermaids of one kind or another. There were particular bits I enjoyed in here. I enjoyed learning about Moana because I've seen the film, because I've got kids, and didn't realise that Moana is actually a mermaid legend, but I guess Disney didn't want to make another mermaid film, so they turned her into like the Polynesian girl, which, I mean, Moana's brilliant, I love it, but So yeah, that was interesting to find out that's a mermaid story. I'd like to know more. And what else was good in here? I really enjoyed the Selkies. I love Selkies. The reason why I like Selkies, I watched a film called Song of the Sea, which if you haven't seen it, my god, it's one of the best films I've ever seen. It's an animation and it's made by an Irish animation company, and that, I mean, thing number one, so I've got a lot of Irish heritage, and I feel very strong bonds with, you know, I've never lived in Ireland, I've only ever been to Ireland once, but you know, my grandparents were Irish and I do feel that kind of heritage. So I loved that, the Irishness of it, the music and the feel of it. The animation is kind of an anime style, which is kind of cool. It's obviously set by the sea, lighthouses and all of that, and I'm all over that. But Selkies were not a legend I was aware of. Selkies are people who turn into seals, basically, in a nutshell. And I watched this film and I was like, oh, this is beautiful, I love it, I love the animation, I love the music, I love it, oh, it's lovely, you know, and the kids liked it. And then it finished and I was in pieces because it is so beautiful. It's a film about grief, actually, and it's so clever, just the way that it portrays understanding grief, and actually it might be a really cool way with young people to try and explain that. My kids just saw it as a cool fairy tale, but to me I was just wow. So since then I've been really into Selkies. So it talks about them in here, which is cool. Yeah, it's nice for being like a quick, easy read, enjoyable, pretty. It would have been nice if it was more in depth about some of the things, and there were certain examples that I found very repetitive. So for example, there's an African mermaid called Mamiwata or something like that. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it even. And she's very interesting, but they talk about her periodically. But when they introduce her, they give the same information about her every single time. And it's like, well, I just read that, so I don't, you know. So there were things like that where the same character has the same information given about them every time they're mentioned. But it's not massive, it's like a little, you know, little detraction. That would be the only thing. So I'd like it longer, more depth about some of the examples, but it's very, very cool and I enjoyed it. And I gave it 4 stars. It was good. I enjoyed all these books this month. Let me know what you've read lately. Let me know any good mermaid books, because I'm really into mermaids at the moment. And yeah, let me know any recommendations, or if you've read these. Or Selkie books. Are there Selkie books? There must be. Leave me comments below, have a chat to me, please like if you did, please subscribe for more videos about books and about writing, and I'll see you all soon. Have a good week. Bye!